Well, here we are. We got this 1.5 horse McCormick-Deering. On a previous video I showed it, but she was absolute basket case. We have 3 of these buggers. We're going to put 3 together to make one and see how cheaply we can do it. I've got about, I don't know, $200 into all 3 of these engines. This one's seized up, and that one over there is unseized, so let's see what we can do. See if we can make it run. Alright, first thing we're going to do here, we're going to get this head off. Got some 4 bolts. First I'll pop this carb off. We'll get these 4 bolts off and peel the head off, see what we're working with. Well, I don't know if you can see in here, it's not good. This cylinder is filled with water. This is obviously before the intake valve, so maybe it stopped most of it, but we'll find out. But look at the ingenuity on that carburetor. A nickel rod. Model T carb. Pretty nifty setup. Alright, let's get this head off. So you missed it, but I just started bashing this head off, and yeah, there is so much water coming out of this. Yeah, that was unexpected. I have never had an engine hold water like this. I mean, we live in Kansas. It's usually dry here. Ooh. Yum. Huh. Interesting. That must have been recent. We've had a lot of rain lately. I mean, this setup, it's not... Okay, maybe it's pretty bad. Oh yeah. Let me get a flashlight. I have no clue the last time this engine ran, but here's our bore. Look at the bottom there. You know, you can tell some water is set. You can see the water line for quite a while. I have seen a lot worse, but I think a guy could unseize this. But anyways, let's examine the head. See what we're working with here. That head gasket's still good, and that's a relatively modern head gasket. So somebody has had this running within the last, I don't know, 3 decades, I'd say. So, you know, one thing we're going to do, obviously this head is going to go on that other engine because it's missing, but we need to work on freeing these valves up. So we'll throw some penetrating oil on those and see if we can start freeing them up, and then pull them out, see if we can lap them. So, got our head here, our exhaust valve's unseized. Pretty good. Now our intake, on the other hand, is a whole nother story. We're just gonna fill that whole thing up. Oh, nice. Some PB blaster. Threw some fluid film in there just because we can. I'll let that sit tonight. I'll let it bask. We gotta get this engine off here, and we'll get that M up here, and we'll see what we need to do with that. I know we need to pull the piston on it and clean up the cylinder. There's a bunch of dirt in it. The year I've had it, I have been spraying PB blaster, whatever, down into the cylinder. So, and we also need to re-shim the crank. So let's get into it. So, just want to show you guys real quick. This is how I sling my engines. You never want to pick them up with the strap on each flywheel, and we'll actually bend the crank. So I usually use a piece of pipe or 4x4, run it through the spokes, picks it up evenly, and then I run something around the hopper. No, it's not perfect, but we won't have any more damages. I think that's what happened to my Sparta. Somebody picked it up by the flywheels, bent it straight up, 1/8 of an inch. So let's get her on here. All right, so now we got to get our rod out. Rhett's gonna clean the front of the cylinder. I can't see it, it's a poor light, but we gotta undo 2 bolts on the rod, and we'll push the piston forward. Rhett will get in here, get the cylinder board cleaned out as best he can. See this carbon, buddy? Shine your light on it. We gotta get this cleaned up so we can push the cylinder out.
Okay.
So you need to clean that out with that rag.
Okay.
And I'll get you some PB blaster, and we'll maybe even throw
What's the PB blaster?
the lubricant. Get her cleaned out.
I'm gonna use.
All right, let's see if we can get this off. And there's shims on here. And this thing will pinch your fingers, Rhett.
Oh.
Okay. Now, I gotta be careful I don't lose those shims. See how there's shims right here? They're not on that one, but look in there. Let me shine my light. See the shims?
Yeah.
We don't want to lose those. That rod, look how good a shape that is in. Look at that. That's in good shape, buddy.
Oh yeah.
It's not all rusted out. So now we'll go to the front of the engine and Dad. So how good did you clean this up here? She needs some more scrubbing, buddy. All right, let Dad help you scrub it.
Okay, so you.
All right, so Rhett's gonna stand on the other side. I'm gonna take a piece of wood and I'm gonna tap that rod and piston forward. So we'll see if this will fit.
It fits.
Okay, well.
Oh.
Go to the other side. Is it coming out? Is it moving a little bit?
Nope. Okay, guys, all the way out. Just get them out.
Dad's board's breaking apart.
Wow. How far does it go?
Whoa! There it is.
Cool.
All right, hang on.
Yep, I can see it.
Let me do it from this side. Let's see if I can see you. No, look in there. Hi.
Hello.
What are you doing over there?
Oh, this is just a ton of that we just made.
How's the cylinder looking?
Good.
Just do a light honing on it. And then I got the piston here. That wasn't good on it, but it's okay. I have one ring that is, well, I guess you could say collapsed. So when you try to get that freed up and get this piston cleaned up and get it back in the engine. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm gonna take it to work, put it in my parts washer, and go from there. So we got the bore somewhat cleaned up, did a light hone, but I don't have too high hopes, but we'll throw this cylinder or this piston in and see what she'll do. got the rod and piston put in. Got to get the Babbitt insert, throw it in there. It's kind of hard for me to record this, but long story short, put the rod back up here on the crank and put these shims back in, clean it up, and we should be good. The bore ain't the prettiest, but she'll run. Now some of you guys might be wondering how this wrist pin is oiled. Well, here's your oiler. I just dumped some oil in here. On top of the piston right now it's dripping. There's a little catch inside top of the wrist, or on top of the rod with a hole in it, and that's how your wrist pin's oiled. So every time it comes back, when a drop comes down, it oils the rings as well as the wrist pin. Well, I got our intake valve out. A little bit of heat goes a long ways, but look how much junk is in the intake. So we'll get that cleaned out, and you get the spark plug out and get the exhaust valve out and get everything kind of cleaned up and lapped. Well, I ain't got the best compression in the world, but you know, maybe you need to get them rings seated in, but maybe enough to run. We'll just have to find out. Well, I made a large mistake. Big no-no. Cracked that and broke it right off. The governor was seized up here on the bracket. This pin for the weights was seized up. In the process, I burnt my finger, mind you. And, yep. Snapped it right off. I knew I was hitting a little too hard, and I just felt it get really loose. So that's really unfortunate. And the other unfortunate thing is, you gotta pull the flywheel and this extremely rusted pulley off to be able to put this new bracket on. Luckily, I got a parts engine over there. So what I'm gonna do to at least make myself happy here, I'm gonna pull this weight off, get it off. I'm gonna run this with no governor. I know you guys are gonna think that's stupid. It's crazy. Yeah, but the key with that is we're actually gonna run propane on this. I'll really be able to wind it down. And I can run it by hand if I want to here on the throttle plate that's right in here. So we'll see if that's gonna work. I really wanna just see it run. Once it's running, I'll be a lot happier and actually wanna finish the project. All right, so we're out here in the shop. I didn't really record any of this, but this contraption here is replacing this Wico EK. Now this goes on my Nelson Brothers. I don't want to spend $300. So we came up with this. This is just a normally closed switch And when it presses down off this little cam I have right here, it pulls down off this lever right here, opens the points, and it sparks. We do not know if this is gonna work. I have bench tested it and the spark plug does spark. Also, this thing needed a fuel pump, which is another $250. I'll go through how much all this costs, but we're gonna run it on propane. But we're gonna first try to start it just off some ether and see if it'll run, because, well, I also broke the governor, so we have no way to govern this. So let's get into it. Look at this messy contraption and we'll see what happens.
Maybe because you have to push this again.
Huh?
Maybe because I have to push that
Now,
again.
this way. Let's see. Oh, ooh.
Sparks.
Let's get her on intake stroke. Stand right there, buddy.
So here we go. Daddy saw some sparks, so we're starting her.
Okay, we're on exhaust.
Yep, we are.
Okay, we're on intake now, so let's see if we can get a little bit in there.
She's running, Dad.
No, it's not. Oh, it tried. Let's give her a let's try that.
She's smoking, Dad.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh. Oh. It fired. You see that? Stand right here. There, put it right there.
She fired. She's firing.
Towards this. Towards that.
Huh?
Towards this. Go all the way around and record. Alright, I'm gonna shut her down.
How do you turn this off?
Nope, leave it on, leave it on.
Well, today she ran.
They ran today, that's right.
And that was pretty good running.
Alright, so,
A 5-star
so-
check.
well, we got a lot of work to do on this thing, but I think this is where we're going to leave it. I've got other engines that need attention, but the goal was to get this running. And thanks to Rhett for holding the camera for me. If you guys want me to do a video on how I built this wico replacement here. I know it looks pretty crude, but it works well. I know I need to put a condenser in here because the points inside this limit switch are arcing pretty bad, and I know that's not going to last very long. But in all, I have probably 130 bucks at the most if I wasn't just buying fittings willy-nilly. I'll try to make a list of what I use, just to use this propane demand regulator. Try to make a list on what I use to get this running cheaply. So obviously your cost is going to be less because I bought a lot of fittings I did not need. So in all here we probably saved $400, $300 roughly. And I know it doesn't run the best, but your wico EK costs $300, $350, and the fuel pump costs roughly $200, $250. So is it original? No, but we got it to run. And even running with our broken governor, which I'm pretty sad that I did. But next video, we'll tear this engine completely down and paint it. And get the flywheels off, get this governor fixed. And probably redo this, make it nicer. So appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you on the next one. Alright, buddy. Tell me how it ran.
So she ran good. It's kind of messy in there, but we'll clean it out later.
Okay.
And it gets a 5-star pack because it ran pretty darn good today.
It ran pretty darn good?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well good. We gotta get those engines fixed now. You gonna do that for me?
No, I'm gonna help you.
Oh, okay. We need to get to that.
Yeah, we need to get to it.
To your tractor.